Okay. Right, that is definitely not the right angle. Definitely not the right angle. Bear with as I do this very technical. Why is that not sticking on there? It's not going to work, is it? I'll put that under there like that. How's that? Still can't see me, which is probably no bad thing. I thought I got this so sussed. What can I put that on? Need something better to put it on. I don't know. I've got 8 people watching and you can see my chin. How about if I sit down on this bit here where I normally sit? That could be better. Oh, sort of. Hello, hello, hello. How's this for quality broadcasting? And can I see any text? Can I see any writing? Questions? Live chat? Some messages, spam are visible. All messages are visible. Let's do that. There we go. Hello. Small word, big change. Big change. Hello. So where are you all from? 13 people. This is great. And can you all hear me properly? My sound is usually rubbish, as you know, when I do videos. But I'm in my little makeshift office. So there we go. Are we at 6 o'clock? I think we're at 6 o'clock. Yes, we're at 6 o'clock. Right. Oh, you're all joining. Sounds fine. Hello from Hampshire. Hello, Hampshire, and hello, Orkney. Am I in the right position, or should I move? So tell me now, is the sound rubbish? Is the angle rubbish? Am I something I'm not doing, or shall I stop worrying and just start? Sounds fine. East Yorkshire, Harrington, East Lothian. Thank you. Kent. All fine. Excellent. Right. So just this Q&A. Never really done it for my office before on the EV market. Hello, Paolo. Paolo, who's got a Model 3. Very envious, Paolo. Must pop by Aberdeen area and say hello. Angle all okay, sound all okay, excellent. There's a fast first for me. My sound is okay. My usual audience is quite critical of my sound. Right, what's the most important thing I look for when looking through an auction? What's the most important thing I look for is it being described properly? Are the cables with the car? And depending on what it is the SD card with the car. So for instance, the Nissan Leaf, the major car auction houses would always take the SD card out of the Leaf and then it would get lost. And they used to take them out, or they still do take them out for safekeeping. But if they get lost, you've got to find an SD card. The only way to get it is to order one off Nissan because they are car specific. Try saying that. Specific, yes. And last time I ordered one, which was about 12 months ago, they were £300 plus VAT and about a 6-week wait because they would come from the Netherlands. So SD cards, I always check for cables just so that I'm not overpaying for the vehicle when I've then got to buy perhaps a granny cable or a Type 2 cable, which could be, as you probably all know, a Type 1 to Type 2 cable for the early Nissan Leaf was, well, you can find it for about £120, and the granny cable anywhere between £350 and £400 for a brand new one. So they're the major things I look for. Other things are just normal stuff like tyre wear, whether it needs a new set of tyres, just the general things. But obviously I don't have to check things like the clutch or the exhaust system, or whether there's any noises from the top end of the engine like you used to have to do with internal combustion engines and still have to do. So for me to buy an EV, there's so many things I don't have to check, which is great with an electric vehicle. But then all the other normal things, is it HPI clear, has it been an accident, any paint work, etc, etc. So the people I use, which I'll show you a bit later on if anyone's interested, I've got all the tabs open. yes, I do expect to see more cars from China. And oh dear, what was that about the 40 kilowatt? If I had to sell it, what would I get now instead? I do like the e-Nero. Um, I do like the Kona. I like the look of the Kona, but I know the e-Nero is slightly bigger. And of course, I'd like a Tesla Model S. I'll supply one to my good friend Ewan McTurk, the doctor of all things battery. Check out Ewan's YouTube channel called Plug Life TV. Absolutely brilliant. I would love the Model S that I got him. I'm happy with any EV, I have to be honest. The 40, it suits me fine. I know the whole rapid gate thing is still an issue, and I honestly think Nissan have dropped the ball. What about the MG? Yeah, I love the MG as well. In fact, James, months ago, did actually say to me, John, why don't you put a deposit down for an MG? And I didn't, because basically I've already got the 40 kilowatt, and I wasn't in a position to commit to another EV, because I need to not tie up all my funds in just several of my own cars. So I've got my own 40 kilowatt. But yeah, from what James has said, of James and Kate, again, check them out on YouTube, the MG ZS looks amazing value for money. I'm looking forward to seeing James' video on it. That should be really good. You drove James's today. It wasn't your cup of tea. Oh, okay. So what did you not like about it, Gareth? I'm just genuinely interested. See, a lot of people go, oh, it's from China. It's going to break into... But so much of our tech that we use every day has come from China. Battery tech as well is from China. I know some of the plastics are quite hard, but from what I've seen, I've not seen one in the flesh, but from what I've seen, it's no worse or better than the Nissan Leaf, to be honest, because some of the plastics in the Leaf are quite sort of hard and scratchy. But I'd be interested to know what your thoughts are and what you didn't like about the MG ZS. But for this top spec car with the I know they've been heavily discounted to get the ball rolling by MG as well as the plug-in car grant, but at £24,000 for the top spec model, which James has got with the glass roof, it's just incredible value for money. And then when you look at the range, the predicted range, and what it possibly will get, I'm looking forward to James doing a proper full video on it. For the money, they just leave the competition behind. I used to go auctions 80s. Oh, okay. Right, okay. So going to the auctions today, obviously with the Nissan Leaf, you look for the capacity bars. Right. I'm going to have a job reading all these questions. I'm going to stick to one question. So when you go to the auctions, just the normal checks, but you haven't got to jump in and test the clutch. You haven't got to jump in and rev the engine and make sure it's not puffing blue smoke out the back. So just make sure it works, basically, and it moves. There's very little to sort of look at that would question whether it's a good Nissan Leaf or a poor Nissan Leaf. 100%. All my cars I sell have got a plug on the end. The percentage I sell on Orkney is probably around 70%, and 30% are ordered south. So last week I sent a Peugeot Ion to a customer in York. I'm looking for a customer in the north of Wales. I'm looking for a customer in Somerset, London, Southampton, Colchester. So UK-wide, people are looking. Okay. Right, it's a little bit whiny. So it depends what we're comparing the new MG ZS to, but you can't escape the fact that for £24,000 to have an EV that rapid charges and that does perhaps, according to initial reports, 160, 170 miles on a single charge for around £24,000, nothing can get close. And it's in the most popular segment, that soft 4x4 SUV type car is one of the most popular segments, and no wonder they've got a long waiting list. And I think it'll be MG's biggest seller. Be interested to see what happens in the next 6 to 8 months. I think this could really change MG. What's the furthest you, James, Tim, have delivered a car? Tim bought a Nissan Leaf back up from the south coast to an Orkney customer for me. That's probably one of the furthest. Although I have delivered to, with James, we went down to just past Exeter about 6 months ago. It's when I had a rapid rant about a polar charger that was behind Exeter Racecourse gates, and the app said it was open 24/7, and it turns out it was shut down for the summer, for the winter, and we couldn't get through the gates, and that's when James basically nearly ran out. We had to get a tow back from the AA to the services to get a rapid charge. That was one of the furthest ones we've done, but I combined it with some other deliveries when I was down there as well. Yeah, the Mini would be nice, but it won't have the range, and of course it's not as big, and it's not in that segment of SUV family type cars. Yeah. Oh, you've had issues as well, Gareth. Right. Is that just getting in? I don't know. All right, okay, well, that's good. 3 MG dealerships opened in the last couple of months on the back of the MG ZS EV. Cool. That's really good news. So I think they've also advertised in China another MG model that's a plug-in hybrid. So hopefully they'll start doing some more fully electric cars in the near future. That would be really good. E-Golf dropping in value? No, I wouldn't. I'm not that keen on the E-Golf. The values are dropping because obviously the ID3 is coming out. So there's some cracking offers from companies like Drive Electric that are offering the E-Golf. I think it's at £199 a month. That's obviously because Volkswagen are obviously going to be discounting heavily the e-Golf to clear them out of the way, ready for the ID3. So the build quality in the Golf and the Volkswagen is good, but it's still a compromised car because it's basically the body shell of an internal combustion engine that's had the electronics shoehorned in. The ID3 is obviously built from the ground up as an EV, whereas the Golf I do feel is a bit compromised. I know Johnny Smith's got one, he loves his. Okay, yeah. Well, anything, camera-based mirrors, yes or no, your opinion? I like to try any new tech, so I don't mind camera-based wing mirrors. The ones from the e-tron, that's got them inboard as well. It's obviously going to help with the aerodynamics. No opinions really, as long as you can see on your near side and your off side for motorway driving, etc. As long as it works, then yeah, well, why not? Obviously it won't get dirty, it won't get misted up, although they would though, wouldn't they? The cameras could get sort of dirty. I know on the rear camera on the Leafs that I've had in the past, if it's a particularly dirty day, it accumulates dirt and you've got to pop your finger over the lens and you get out just to clean it. But probably not such an issue with the wing mirrors because you wouldn't get the swirling of the dirt on the tailgate like you do on hatchback models. So yeah, as long as it works, I haven't got a problem with it. Any other questions before I just go off at a tangent? Right, so the next thing I was going to talk about was, do you know, it's now 4 years since me and Chris Ramsey, and I have my picture here. I've got a pride of place in my office. That's me and Chris in September 2015 when we drove from John O'Groats to Land's End. We stopped at Land's End for about 40 minutes and then we turned around and drove back up to John O'Groats in a 24 kilowatt hour 6.6 Nissan Leaf. It was the Ascenta Plus. Note the jazzy wheels that Nissan Press basically gave us or lent us, and we put 1,700 miles on that car. I think it arrived up here on Orkney with 200 miles on the clock because it got transported up to Scrabster, which is just along from John O'Groats. I then had the stickers made, put the stickers on, got back on the Scrabster boat, met Chris at Scrabster, and we had an amazing adventure. Yeah, I think we were awake for something like actually driving for 52 hours. Not a good idea. Boy, did I have a headache the next day. But that's 4 years ago. We did it then using basically mostly the electric highway. I think we had one charger in Cornwall, and I can't remember who the provider was, but we had issues trying to get the app to work. But yeah, 4 years ago. So in 4 years, the infrastructure has definitely improved. So what I like to say to customers is that, or potential customers, we could do that in a 24 kilowatt hour lead 4 years ago. You can certainly do it today in a 24 because there's so many more percentage of cars are like the EV. We're approaching 300 cars, electric vehicles on Orkney. There are 10,000 vehicles, that's from DVLA's database, 10,000 vehicles on Orkney, so we're at 3%. And I honestly hope that another dealer will start up on Orkney, or even a franchise dealer, because with 3%, there's plenty of scope for more EVs here on Orkney. And I welcome competition, and I just want to get bums on seats. This is what I keep saying to people here on Orkney, and people who ring me up from South. I say, look, if you don't buy from me, just get yourself an electric vehicle. And one or two people have actually rang me and said, well, I've seen this leaf, it's this offer, and they've asked me what I think, and I will honestly tell them. So look, that's a cracking deal. Have their hand off. Not too long ago, Nissan were selling absolutely amazing deals on new and used Nissan Leaf. And I would say, I think they've got the figures wrong. That is ridiculously cheap. Just buy it. So I genuinely just want to get people in the seats of electric vehicles, and I'll help anyone to make that transition. Even if they don't buy from me, I'm happy to give them tips. I also, some gentleman rang me last week. He bought a Peugeot Ion from somebody in Scotland, and he says, do you mind awfully if I have your route that you do? I think he lived in, where was he? He was Bristol, southwest area. Anyway, sent him my list. I emailed him my list of my stops, my charges, so he could make his way from, I think it was the Aberdeen area, back down to Leicestershire, and then further on down the M6. So again, I'm only too happy to help people see that you can do long trips. This is the famous list that James never uses. I say no more. I saw a question earlier about electric planes. Yeah, that is definitely coming here on Orkney. Logan Air, along with the aircraft manufacturer whose name I've forgotten, are going to trial fully electric planes. I was going to say EV planes, that'd be wrong. Electric vehicle planes. No. Fully electric planes here on Orkney. And a good friend of mine / past customer, a gentleman called, that's really bad, I've forgotten his name. That's really bad, I've forgotten his name. Colin McAllister. He won't mind me saying his name. He's a lovely chap, and he flies the small islander planes between the Northern Isles here on Orkney, which also includes the world's shortest scheduled flight, which is from Westray to Papa Westray, which, if the wind is in the right direction, I think it's about 90 seconds from taking off to landing. Anyway, he was approached by Logan Air about 18 months, 2 years ago, to ask whether he'd be up for taking part of the trial, which of course he is, because he's an EV fanatic. He's got a Leaf and he's got a C0. So yeah, it's watch this space. C0's fine. I've driven from Bristol to Orkney in Peugeot Ions, C0s, Mitsubishi A On Evs. I went from Bristol to my parents in Leicester, and then I all stayed with my parents, and then went from my parents up to Abington, just south of Glasgow, and stopped a night in Abingdon, and then from there up to Scrabster. So around 55, 60 miles in a C0. I wouldn't attempt it in the winter. I have done it in the winter. It's not pleasant because you have to wear a hat and gloves and a scarf because of the resistor heater in the C0. But yeah, bit of planning. C0 can go anywhere. Also, our neighbour across the road is moving to Ireland, and they have got a Peugeot Ion. And to cut a long story short, she took the Aberdeen boat from Orkney down to Aberdeen and drove across Scotland to Stranraer, I think, to catch the ferry. She'd never done it before, absolutely concerned. But I helped her plan a route, and she sent me a lovely message saying she thoroughly enjoyed the trip. She found it relaxing and chilling, and she was there in plenty of time for her evening ferry to the Green Isle, to Northern Ireland. Yeah, so go anywhere in C0 if you're planning your trip. I'm perhaps missing these questions. Can I pull up these questions? No. Oh, yes. Kevin Smith. Hello, Kevin. If you've not met Kevin Smith, he's a very enthusiastic EV advocate who's got an amazing camper for sale. Short commercial break coming up now. Camper van for sale on my website, and 24 kilowatt hour ENV 200. And he has beautifully kitted it out as a camper. So check out the video. And James and Kate also reviewed his camper as well. So that is up for sale on my website. Lovely gentleman. And his craftsmanship is superb. He's built it himself. Got solar panels on the roof. Everything you could want. Campervans are not my thing, I have to say, because I'm 6'4", and you can guess the rest. I just don't fit in campervans. My wife would love a campervan, but hopefully she will not watch this video. There we go. Kevin's camper is amazing. See, other people have seen it as well. It is absolutely awesome. Oh, you're the gentleman, right. So the gentleman I was talking about who wanted the route, he went from Kilmarnock south in his Peugeot Ion, and that's the list I sent him. It was a pleasure, sir. I'm always happy to tell people how I get there. Right, someone's asking about auction sites and what you look for. Right, I'm going to, let me see if I can work this out. If I unplug the phone and put it towards the screen, or if I flip the phone and then I can see the questions. Yes. Right, I'm going to unplug the power cable. Hopefully this will still do it. I'm going to flip the camera. Oh, you see, I'm getting the hang of this. Right. There we go. That's my cradle you can see. There's my tray plates. Right, let me set you up on here in a right professional way. You see, you don't get this with fully charged, do you? It's always a little bit more slick than this. I may be doing something with fully charged soon, which would be really exciting. But, oh, how about if I put you on my printer? Hang on. Oh, look at this. I'm getting the hang of this. Right, can you all see that? Someone say something. Right, there we go. Started seeing adverts on my for the plugin. No, I haven't. That's not good, is it? I think Robert complained about he was having adverts on his YouTube channel, fully charged, for self-charging hybrids. But you've got no control over adverts. But it's nice in a way that they're picking up that I'm doing. Oh, okay, yes. Nice to see you. Oh, thank you. Oh, I appreciate that. Right. So that's obviously my website. So let me tell you what's what. So one of the biggest auction houses in the UK is Mannheim, and you can look at them as well. So it's mannheim.co.uk. So you basically go in here and select fuel type. Obviously, I then clicked electric or elec, because they spell it different when they do the descriptions. So from next week, there is 61 EVs. And as you can see here, these are all ex-RCI financial services. Can you see it on the screen if I just highlight? Yeah, I think so. So that's a selection of all the Leaf coming up. These are yet to be allocated to sale. That one's on the 15th of October. There's 3 pages worth here. There we go, all of these. So let's pick one here. Let's look at this black. Oh, it's bronze. A bronze 30 kilowatt Tecna, 19,000 miles. It's previewed. I'm going to watch the vehicle, so I can put an alert. Now I can see this because this is my trade account, and I can see lots of information such as the pricing information as well, service history. Now these are the sort of images I can see, and I know that RCI issue these to a standard. Mark Taylor Hankins. Wow, hello Mark. I'm just doing a quick lowdown on what I look for when I'm buying a vehicle. So you get all the descriptions here. Now this is what I like to see, but this is quite rare because often they'll just show a picture of the dashboard with the door open or the percentage, but what I need to see is this screen, which shows that this is a standard 3.3. So that's what I have. I then have the ability to, this one hasn't had one done yet, but very often there will be a condition report. Let me find one with a condition report. Scroll down. So the Zoes, Leaf, most are from RCI, which is the financial side of Nissan. Nice Mercedes-Benz B-Class. Yeah, let me show you this as an example. 11,000 miles. I do love the B-Class, but there's obviously no rapid charging. So you can have a good sort of virtual look around the car. As you can see, different images, etc. And then very often there will be a inspection report, which you can then click on, and so you get everything. You get here, you've got the tyre tread depth and even the make of the tyre. Well, you can see that over here. MOT history, which you can look up online. Servicing, when it was done. And then things such as things that are missing a mark. So it's showing the compressors missing, the oil tyre pump. And then here is a scratch through paint. Quarter panel dent. Now these can be cold metal repaired, so get a dent man that can pull them out. And even if there's undue wear on the tyres, so sometimes EVs can scrub the shoulders of the front driving tyres if it's a front wheel drive car. Roof dent with minor paint damage, and again you can just see it there. So again, that would cold metal repair. So these are the sort of things that we get to see as the trade. And when I buy to order, I show customers all of these details, and they can either ask me to get them repaired and fixed and rectified. But though, to be honest, most people expect a used car to have some type of imperfection somewhere. So it's rare for people to want something that's 3-4 years old that's out the box, as they say, because no car that's 3-4 years old that's done 20,000 miles is going to be perfect. That's what makes a used car a used car. Just look on the last page. That's another. That was a 24 kilowatt hour. So the other thing I always check, here's a 54,000 mile 24 kilowatt hour centre Leaf. So the other thing I look for is whether it's lost any capacity bars. Now in this case here, you see my little marker dancing around. Oh, I'm missing some questions here. I'm looking at my screen and now I'm looking at my phone. Hello Canada. So you see this bit here, and this is on one of my other websites, how to tell whether a car's lost some capacity bars. So if that block is in line with the number 1, then it's lost a block, because there should be another one illuminated just above it, just there. So from this photograph, I can tell that this 55,000 mile Leaf has lost a capacity bar, which tells me it's just below 82% capacity. So I wouldn't be too keen on buying it, because obviously everybody wants a Nissan Leaf with all its capacity bars. But then I do get some people that live on a small island, and I tell them it's lost some capacity, and they go, do you know what, I'm only doing 10 miles a day, I'm not really bothered as long as the price is right. There we go. Now the other thing as well is that the auctions, they don't always understand what it means, so they'll just go by the book price. Now I wouldn't pay cap clean. Its current auction price clean is £6,025 for this 14 plate. Cap average 5.5. It's probably worth around £5,000 with one capacity bar gone. But I know when this goes through the sale, it'll probably go for a lot more than £5,000. That's that. That's I was looking. Someone was asking earlier. That's Mannheim.co.uk. The other biggest auction site in the UK is BCA. That's British Car Auctions. They've got 69 vehicles. Again, you can set up an account, log in, and just go down to fuel type. And then when you get to fuel type, obviously you just click electricity or electric. And I've just gone and unclicked it. Just have a slurp of tea. Oh, my tea's gone cold. There we go. So let me go to fuel type and click electricity. Electric, come on. The wonders of the internet on Orkney. Sometimes it's a little bit slow. There we go. So, for instance, I'll show you this one here. This looks very nice. I've got lots of people after 30 kilowatt Leaf, but they've all said you must have a 6.6 charger. So this one is in Edinburgh. It's on a buy it now at 12.8, which is about right for a 66 plate 30 kilowatt Tecna with 13,000 miles on it. So I rang up about this because I looked at all the pictures. I thought, oh, that's a really nice clean car. Mats are in there, no rips to the leather. And there was this picture just showing the percentage. Just doesn't tell me whether it's a 3.3 or a 6.6. So I rang up the auction site at Edinburgh, and the very nice manager there was very helpful. As per usual, had no idea what I was talking about. And he went out, and 2-3 hours later he rang me back, and I talked him through how to scroll round to get to the charge to 100% time. And I found out it was just a standard 3.3. That is my main frustration with auctions at the moment, is getting them to show the charge to 100%. This is a classic mistake. The guy who's photographed this, he's got into the Leaf, he started it, and he's left the door open. So I've no idea whether that's a 3.3 or a 6.6 because he's just left the door open and that screen covers it. Can be really frustrating. Catch up with you. Okay, yeah, you can watch later. All right, thanks, Mark. Let me just show. That's one of my frustrations, is trying to get correct details. And I did a video on YouTube about what we need to see from the auction companies. So there's Leaf. I think I've talked about the Leaf quite enough. Here's a Jaguar I-Pace at Measham. Buy it now. £55,000. £55,000. It's a 19 plate. Somebody obviously didn't like it, or it's from Lex Autolease. Could have been a cancelled order. So someone will order one via the company. Either the company goes bust, or the employee leaves the company, and then the leased vehicle is returned, and they just take it straight to the auctions. So there is a virtually out the box Jaguar I-Pace with just over 1,000 miles on the clock, registered the 12th of August this year. Charging cable, granny cable, and then just all the usual blurb, like heated seats, like it's got 4 wheels, it's got windscreen wipers. The descriptions are not usually the best. Going to the condition report, bonnet chipped 1 to 5, bumper chipped, front screen chipped. Now, very often when they describe things like chips, people will go, oh my word, you know, it's chipped. But these auction houses cover themselves for the most minor of marks, just so they can say, you know, it has got a mark and you knew about it before you actually went and bid for it. So they are very good. They will very often over emphasize the damage, So sometimes I've seen cars with a huge long list of faults and chips and marks, and when you get to see the car, you wouldn't have even noticed it had it not been highlighted. i3 is very popular. I'm looking for an i3 next week for a customer of mine. Next week, actually Monday. These are what's called an e-sale. It's the BCA off-site, so it's just trade only auction. So 15 plate i3s, basic spec in silver. These will be around about £12,500. Let me just show you one. And a gentleman asked the other day, can I have an i3 for £10,000? I thought, well, you'd get a high mileage one. So there we are. It's what I call Bobby Basic spec, which is not bad. You've got the heated seats, but you get the small sat nav, not the pro nav, which is wider. And I'd say 9 out of 10 people I speak to all say they want pro nav. And as in the case with most BMWs, people want a BMW with all the kit fitted to it. What else can I show you? Lots of Leaf. There's only 40 kilowatt. Still fetching really good money. There's an 18 plate, grade 1, so it's virtually part perfect. UK Car Group is basically another name for WeBuyAnyCar.com. Retail is 23,266. Glasses trade 20,000. So they're all still around early 20s to buy a nice 40 kilowatt. That's an N connector Leaf, depending on its age. There's a nice 19 plate. Again, it could be a cancelled order. 19 plate, 120 amp hour i3. Was this one the S? Can't remember. But these are starting to show themselves. I think it is the S. And I think the new ones have all got the wider screen sat nav now as standard. I think it is the i3S. You can see it on the map there. So there we go. All sorts are available. Save your questions, because when I've come out of this screen, you can ask some questions. Let me go back. There's 31 of you watching. I hope this is vaguely interesting. There we go. So you get the general idea. I'm not going to go through every car on here. I'm just trying to give you a broad show of what is available. So there are lots and lots of Leaf. Occasionally we'll see things like a Twizy. There's a Tesla look. I bet you're all interested in Teslas. There we go. Let's show you this one. Who'd like a Tesla? Come on, let's see if you're all awake. Who wants a Tesla? No one wants a Tesla. I can't see anybody. Okay. Ioniq, yeah, Ioniq, it's limited supply. Me, of course we do, now too big. Well, let me show you this one then. It's an 85 kilowatt dual motor. Can't really afford it. Done 86,000 miles. Panoramic roof. Has it got the nice interior? It's got those wheels that do get scuffed. It's the P85D. Has it got the new seats? I think it has. 82,000 miles. There we go. And that's got a guide price of between 39. I'd say this is probably around about 41, 42, because it's a P85D. There we go. Right, next thing I was going to show you was price guiding. Now this is a little sort of hidden page within BCA's website, and so this shows you all the recent prices over the last 7 days, 30 days with averages. So let me show you Kia Soul 67 plate. There's been one example with 14,000 miles over the last 7 days that sold for 15,950 at auction. Its guide price average was 15,200. So this was £700 more than the guide price, plus auction fees, which on this would be around about £400. So around 16 and a half after all the fees for a 67 plate Kia Soul with 14,000 miles. This is an interesting one. I'll show you this one from last week. I had my eye on this, but I didn't buy it because I found a Peugeot Ion from elsewhere. A 2012 Mitsubishi i-MiEV with 15,000 miles sold for £5,300. Its average price was £14,700. Mitsubishi i-MiEVs really strong money at the moment. They're really making all the money. That's because they're in such a popular price band. Lots more people with around £6,500, £7,000 to spend than there are with 15, 20, £30,000. So that means the demand for this budget of electric vehicle is really, really strong. Leaf. Let me just see if I can find anything interesting from the last 7 days to show you with regard to values. When my computer wakes up, or is it now gone frozen? Oh, there we go. Oh, there's an e-Golf. Someone was asking about Golfs earlier. A 68 plate 2019 e-Golf, 6,000 miles on the clock, sold trade at £22,500, and its average price was £22,650. So only a little bit under what the average price was. Teslas, let's see if there's any cheap Teslas last week. Not particularly. Smart 4.2, 13 plate Smart 4.2 with 14,000 miles, sold for 6,600, right? Its average price was 5,500. So we're talking £1,100 more than the trade says it was worth for a 13 plate Smart 4.2. Dominique Renault Zoe 64 plate with 12,000 miles, sold for £9,000. I shouldn't laugh. That just seems unbelievably expensive. 65 plate. Oh, there's my Twizy. I mentioned this earlier this week. Renault Twizy. Not many of these about. 65 plate, 7,000 miles, sold for 4,200. The trade said it was worth 2,400. So goodness me, it's nearly what, £2,000 more than what the trade said it was worth. That's because I rarely see Twizzys. There we go. So there's the prices from last week. I also use Fleet Auction Group. There's a Tesla Model X for sale next week on the 17th. Fleet Auction Group are strictly trade only. No public are allowed. I know the guys there very well. They're based in, well, they've got several sites, but the one I used to go to is close to where I used to live. So there's a Tesla Model X 90D, done 18,000 miles. The chargers, etc. And again, they'll highlight any chips, scuffs, marks, wheel curbing. So the beauty of the internet is you don't have to stand in horrible, cold, drafty auction halls for months, weeks on end, trying to find that perfect car. This was direct enterprise. It might have been a hire car whilst people's Teslas were being repaired. It could have been that. So that's Fleet Auction Group. Also my good friends at Shoreham Vehicle Auctions, Michael. Right, everyone's going off to do even more interesting things. You can watch it later. Michael at Shoreham Auctions is a good colleague of mine. I met him once, and he keeps me posted. And they also have electric vehicles. And the good thing about Michael, he's a manager at Shoreham. He's very open to being told what the EV trade want to see with regard to their vehicles. There's an EMV 200 Centre Rapid Plus, which means it's got the uprated onboard charger, and an N connector from Drive Electric, who I know really well. So they've got 2 cars they're disposing of next week. There's also Aston Barclay. I've had this window up and ready. This is all the electric vehicles going through next week. So what have we got? Leaf from Motability, RCI, Ogilvy, Fleet, RCI, lease plan. Also plug-in hybrid V60 there. Done 92. That's interesting. See, this is what I do. I end up getting distracted. Dealer auction again is another dealer-only website. It's for dealers to sell to other dealers, and I just click fuel type here, and there's a Renault Zoe 40 that's got a battery lease. That's been on about 3 or 4 times, and someone's just popped a plug-in hybrid Mitsubishi Outlander on there. So these could be overage stock or part exchanges that the dealer doesn't want to, he's not really interested in. So there we go. So that's basically what I do here. It's now gone dark. I've done lots of rabbiting, haven't I? Let's flip the camera around. There we go. So that's what I do. It isn't turning into a sales pitch, that's not the reason for this, but basically I do an auction trade buying service. I just want to get bums on seats of electric vehicles, I really do. So I'm not looking to be the next Arnold Clark, I'm not looking to open a big fancy franchise, I just want to get people driving electric cars as cheaply as possible. Octopus Energy, they're great if you want to check out their code, or their prices really, for their EV tariff. That's my referral code, if I can remember it. share.octopus.energy/metal-horse-113. And if you sign up with that code, you get £50 credit to your account, and I get £50 as well. So that's the great Zappi charger as well. I've done lots of videos about the Zappi. That is fantastic. And if anyone wants to do a long drive and they want my famous list that James never uses, then pop me an email or message me and I can do that. I've been going on for 46 minutes. Has anyone got any questions before I sign off? Because I think 46 minutes of listening to me droning on is probably more than enough than you can take. Any more questions about anything? I'm trying to think if I've not covered anything. Lots of other YouTubers to watch. Elle, if she's electric, she doesn't do that many videos, but she's very popular on Twitter, and she's also one of the directors of the EVAS, the Electric Vehicle Association Scotland. And when I sell a car here in Orkney or in Scotland, I give them one of these packs, which are absolutely brilliant. There's lots of, I can't do this with one hand, lots of info in there, and also a really good little timer, just to basically show, is this backwards? Is this backwards? I don't know. Basically to show when you've finished your charge and you can leave it, and it's got a very tech system. It's not backwards, oh, that's okay, it's just me then. So yeah, that's a really good system for Scotland. So that's the little packs that I put in cars. Well, they've got to tow caravans. Well, the Tesla Model 3 can, and you can tow a caravan with a Nissan Leaf, but not in the UK. It's not type approved, but you can in the States. Don't know. It's not they're not capable of doing it. It's they're not been type approved and not been crash tested, and these manufacturers don't want you to. Yes, I know. I know, Derek. Yes, they do. Yeah, true. I was talking rubbish. If you want one of these packs, you sign up for EVAS for a year's membership and you'll get a little dial. There you go. Maybe we should start offering them to people down south. So everywhere for me is down south. Yeah. What else can I tell you? I think that's it really. I'm going to sign off if no one's got any questions. I've got a video coming out tomorrow of a bronze Nissan Leaf that I bought to order for a customer here in Orkney that came on last night's boat. I've also got a Peugeot Ion that's just got a scuff on the bumper that I dropped off at my body shop last night, and that will be repainted and hopefully be available on Wednesday onwards this week, and I'll be doing a video for that, get this on the website. Down south down south is where you can use these. Down south You can also use them in Northern Ireland, where you can use it in Northern Ireland as well. Anyway, thank you, John Joyce. I'm going to sign off. If you're watching this later, thanks for watching. Maybe you can't sleep, but to sum it all up, I genuinely, passionately want to get people into EVs. I charge a flat £300 fee after all my costs. So transport costs, auction costs. I will then sell it to you, and will have had a description of the vehicle delivered to your door by either James and Kate, myself, or Alex, who is an amazing transport guy with his son called Alex, based in Dundee, and he travels all over the country doing car deliveries, but he's now doing more and more electric vehicles for me, which is great. So as in the case of one I sent down to York, I never actually saw the vehicle. I asked Alex to take it to his nearest MOT station that he knows really well and trusts. We had it valeted, we had it MOT'd, which is basically a service in an electric car, to be honest, and then delivered to my customer in York. And he sent me a lovely testimonial, which is my very latest testimonial on my website, and he's absolutely over the moon. And the other great thing, I didn't say I'd keep talking, the other great thing about my customer called Frank in York, if you're watching, Frank, hello Frank, is that he's just passed his test. I think he's an older gentleman. He's just passed his test. So the first car he's ever driven has been an electric vehicle. He's never ever burnt any fossil fuel in an automobile. That's brilliant. Really is good. We often think about the youngsters never driving an internal combustion engine, but this gentleman just passed his test, and his first car is electric, which is great. There you go. 51 minutes, 52 minutes, far too long. Thanks for watching, and if this proves popular, I'll do another one next time. All right, thanks for all your comments, and I'll speak to you soon. Now I'm going to try and very professionally end this broadcast without talking and looking as if I don't know what I'm doing. He says, do you want to stop streaming? Okay.